the comedian, actress, podcast host herself, Mac. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so tell me about Mac After Dark. Tell me all about your show.
So originally, I kind of just got on the podcast wagon because I'm a stand-up comedian, and I felt like I had to do one. And then it kind of evolved into a satirical podcast where I made fun of other podcasts or just pop culture, or just trolled people.
Yeah.
I've gone like pretty viral from trolling on my podcast. And then I saw some other bigger podcasts kind of copy what I was doing. But it's fun. I guess it's kind of now a blend of both. Like it'll be sometimes we'll do a real podcast and then sometimes we'll just troll. So
Yeah. I like to throw people off because most of mine is rock stars and sexual humor, but I'll do a serious sit down sometimes with a survivor and everyone's like, wait, what? What just happened? This is that. And
yeah,
I'm like, I like to do it all.
yeah.
So how did you get started in comedy?
So it's actually crazy because now that I am a stand-up comedian, I do feel like I was always meant to be one, and I feel like it was like my destiny. But I wasn't one of those people who knew that I wanted to be a comedian because I don't think I had the confidence in myself to go on stage. But from a young age, I would set up a camera. I had one of those big like camcorders, and I would pretend to be Chelsea Handler and
Yeah.
like Chelsea Lately, and I would make like funny videos and edit them and make my parents watch them. And so it was kind of, now looking back, I feel like I always knew that this is what I was meant to do. Um, but it was kind of a long journey. I was in school in Tampa and I read the book The Alchemist. I'm not sure if you've ever read that book or
No,
know
I'm
of
not
it.
familiar.
So, any of your viewers, if you don't know what you want out of life, I highly suggest to read that book. It really helped me to go on a journey that led me into comedy. Um, Probably the second chapter, I realized I wanted to drop out of school and move to Hollywood. And when I got out to
Wow.
Hollywood, yeah. And so when I got out to Hollywood, I really still thought I wanted to be behind the scenes. Again, I don't think I had the confidence to think that I could be in front of the camera, which to me now was so silly because I feel like I'm so natural in front of the camera. But I actually suffered a brain injury. So a brain injury is what got me into comedy. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What
Yeah.
happened?
So it was assault. Which this is
I'm
not.
so sorry.
I know you're having a comedian on, but it's like when you get
Oof,
usually when
no,
you
trust me. I've been through dark shit. That's why I'm kind of funny. So yeah,
yeah,
I
most
get it.
comedians, like, you if you start to talk to them about their real life, it becomes less funny.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, it was assault, and it was actually, somebody I was in love with that did it to me, so it was
I'm
super
so
traumatic.
sorry.
Yeah, and so what I did is I ended up going through, post-concussion syndrome, but during that time, the way that I would kind of, like, soothe myself was going on the internet and, like, making funny videos and talking to the camera.
Yeah.
So many people told me how funny I was and that I needed to do stand up, and so I ended up doing stand up, and oddly enough I feel like it was my destiny. So it's like almost all of that was like meant to happen.
Kind of meant to be. Yeah. And I'm
Yeah,
I'm a survivor of domestic violence as well. So I totally get it. And it's confusing even more, I think, when you're so in love with that person that it to wrap your brain around that they could do something, horrific to you. And then sometimes it even takes time to walk away. It's not something that happens overnight. So I
right.
I get that. Trust me. So
Yeah.
I love your page and that you can make light on a lot of things that offend most people.
Yeah.
I don't get offended. I apparently offend people. I like your take on gender roles and whatnot, and some things that have been lost. I think, especially in Los Angeles, recently.
Mhm.
Have you had kind of someone come after you or some hate that's been just outlandish, like insane?
Yeah, I think at this point, I kind of like thrive off of it. I mean, obviously, just from hearing like the just a little bit of my backstory, I have pretty thick skin. So I think I kind of like thrive off of it as long as I know that either what I was saying, either I meant it and like I was saying it from my heart, or it was so obviously a joke that whoever's offended is just stupid. I think that's what I like doing the most is offending stupid people.
Yeah, they're missing the mark, right? Or they're just keep moving if they don't find it funny.
They need
What do
it.
you what do you think about Los Angeles, like, as a city in general?
Is that where you are? Are you based in LA?
No, so I lived in LA for 7 years. I'm born and raised in Sacramento in Northern California, and I like LA, trust me, I like it, but I think overall it wasn't for me as I started to age, and I saw how, like, dark some of it was, and I just don't think I could stay there, but I still like to visit it. So
Yeah.
tell me, how do you stay in LA? Because it's hard, it's not easy.
Well, I'm not in LA anymore.
Oh,
LA, yeah, I'm actually in Miami. LA is where all that bad shit happened to me.
okay, yeah, yeah, so I thought you were still so you're back in Miami. I've never been to Miami, but I hear great things about it.
So I moved to Miami during COVID, and it's grown a lot. It has a lot of the energy in a good way that LA used to have. But one of the reasons why I'm very happy that I left LA was because of that darkness. I didn't have an easy life, but I would say probably 70% of my major trauma is from the 4 years I lived in LA. I
Yeah,
mean, just
LA is a weird place, like, it has opportunity, right? Like, I get it, like, I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't take an internship in Los Angeles and network with people, but I was like, "I cannot stay here forever because it's turning me into someone I don't recognize," and I'm just it was all about who are you, not, like, actual friendships.
Mhm.
It didn't seem genuine.
And people are very easy. I mean, and I have some great friends from LA at this point, especially in stand-up comedy. Um, but just in general, it is kind of very dark and there's not a lot of human connection. Human connection isn't as valued there. And a lot of my friends that are still there have substance abuse problems.
Yes.
I actually thought I had depression when I was there until I moved to Miami. And I was like, oh, no, I just was really unhappy. I just need nice people around me.
No, I vibe. I feel you. I definitely think I was in a darker place. I didn't know if it was the age or stage of my life or just, people. And
Yeah,
same, I do have some friends that I absolutely love
mhm,
in LA that you had a real connection with. But
yeah.
overall, I don't think it's a healthy place to stay.
It's not, and it's gotten so much worse since the pandemic. I would say there's not even as much opportunity there as there used to be. So
Yeah.
for me, it really lost the appeal, especially as a stand-up comedian. Um, you can do everything. Sam Tripoli actually told me this when I first moved out here because I felt guilty about leaving, and he's like, "No, stay where you are. With if as long as you have access to the internet, you can do pretty much anything you want in stand-up comedy. You don't have to be in LA." But I do think that it was a necessary evil for me to go out there for a certain amount of time. I learned a lot about who I am. I learned a lot about the things I will or won't do. I think if you're corruptible, you will be corrupted in LA.
Yeah.
I learned the limits of my corruptibility, if that's even a word,
Yeah. Yeah.
and my vulnerabilities, and also just like I feel like I learned how strong I could be, and then now I'm like, okay, I'm done being strong. I just want to be happy.
Yeah, yeah, I went from I'm the woman in charge to I wanna be held and cuddled now at this stage of my
Yeah,
life, so I've
same. I'm
definitely
right there.
flip-flopped from, like, bad bitch to, like, no, I just wanna snuggle.
Yeah.
Who are some of the comedians that you've looked up to or that are your favorites right now?
Well, I told you I've always had I always loved Chelsea Handler. I mean, I think the times when I was watching her, I might have been like 12 or 13. I was so young. I didn't even know she was a stand-up comedian at that point. And I've been sometimes compared to her, although I think my style of comedy has developed into something a little bit different from hers. Very offensive, and I would say race-based comedy is, like, kind of what I'm starting to lead into because I just find it so funny, and I love having a room full of people of all different races and genders and everything, being able to laugh at everything, you know?
Yeah,
And so that's kind of my goal right now is just to keep developing my voice in that way because I think that we need that right now as a country. We need to be able to laugh at those types of things.
yeah.
Um but I definitely really like let's see, let me think. Ali Wong is
Oh,
a
she's
female
so
comedian.
good. Her latest stand-up on Netflix and, like,
Yeah,
I'm divorced too, so I vibed so hard.
yeah. She's a really I don't like a lot of female comedians. This is gonna sound misogynistic,
No,
but
I'm the same, like, males make me laugh easier, and I'm just honest with it, like, I'm
yeah,
obsessed with Tim Dillon, like,
Tim Dillon's pretty funny, yeah.
yeah, he's one of my faves.
I actually really like, to me, like, the more offensive, the better. So
Okay.
I like, Tony Hinchcliffe. I know everybody's really mad about his
Yeah.
recent Puerto Rico joke. I thought it was funny. That's the whole point of a joke, is that it's a joke. If you're a comedian, I think if we try to limit the things that comedians say, then if a comedian can't even say it, then that's scary for regular people, because then you definitely can't say it, right? So if you can't make
Yeah.
a joke about it, then you can't even then a regular person won't be able to say it. And I don't know. I think that comedians are kind of like the trailblazers of free speech. So I like offensive comedy. I think it's important. Um,
No, me too. I think, and Tony just got a lot of flack for going to New York and standing up for Trump the other
yeah,
day. And I think everyone should just be able to say and do what they want. Like you said, even especially with the comedian, because that's someone that's not a politician that should be able to have no bar on what they can and can't say. Like,
mhm.
I think he's very innovative.
Well, and I think the general public is kind of tired of. It's not to say that they're tired of, you know, you don't being accommodating to different types of people, but I think they're tired of political correctness. Um,
Yeah.
and so I think that the type of comedy that I do and the type of comedy that, like Tony Hinchcliffe does, that's why him and Joe Rogan have just kind of blown up so much. I mean, Tony Hinchcliffe sold out Madison Square Garden for his podcast
Yeah.
like a couple months ago, and his is like super fucked up. Sorry, I don't know if we
I
can cuss.
know. I love it.
Yeah.
I think cancel culture needs to be canceled. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
And
let's just have fun again and say whatever the hell we want and then move to a different channel if you don't find it funny. I don't know why people want to stay on that channel and try to cancel it. It doesn't make
well,
sense.
there's a difference between making a joke about something and like actually doing it. You're not most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, you're not going to find somebody making a joke about something they actually do. So like my jokes, I start with white people and then I just make fun of every single race. Like
Yeah.
if I don't make fun of a race yet, it's because I haven't thought about it yet. So but I can do that because I know that I'm not prejudiced, I'm not racist. I'm making jokes because I'm trying to ease the tension around race, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. So
No, definitely. And like I said, I'm done with I think it's actually dividing us, saying that we can't talk about someone's race or that there's several genders and we can't make a joke about this non-binary
right.
nuts factor. And
Yeah.
I've been called names and it cracks me up. I have dated a black woman in the past. I mean, I literally love everybody. I don't
Right.
care about, and if
Right.
you know me closely, you know that. But it's funny, people on the internet, when they just click and hear one joke that I said on a radio show, they don't understand that I do love everybody, but I think it's so fun to make fun of our own,
Yeah.
race and our own
Right.
genders, or like I think there's two, which is now like a hot
Well,
topic. Like other
yeah, I
people
mean,
don't
there's
believe that,
unless you're hermaphrodite, I mean, they
right? Which I met one.
really
So
them.
I was working at Crazy Girls in Hollywood, a strip club,
Oh,
and
that's the place I went to the night I got my brain injury.
I'm so sorry. I did not mean to say that. That was where I worked for like 4 years.
Wow. Wonder
That's
who
where
you're
I met
with.
a hermaphrodite. And
Oh,
so
wow.
like it was they identified as a female, but that's the only time I felt a little bit bad. I had a couple drinks, but I said I need to see it, like I'm just that
Yeah.
person that's so intrigued by everything. And and then so they or she, whatever, was like, okay. And I got to like see it for a little bit and I was just blown away that
I
it
feel
was
like
both.
I feel like I dated a guy who was, like, small enough that maybe he was
Didn't date. I went to hook up with a guy and had a micro penis, and I didn't know those are real. And he didn't warn me. Like I have a whole bit about it, like no warning, nothing. And I'm not kidding, like non-existent. I had to swoop back up to make out and be like, I'm tired. Like, let's just hang out. Like it was just not
There's,
there.
like there's my when I lived in LA, I had a doctor who would do my threads, like, on my face. That's how I
Yeah.
stay looking camera ready. I don't give a fuck. I'll tell everybody what the work I got done. But he actually does permanent penis enlargement. So
Oh,
there's, like, no excuse anymore. Like, it's like
yeah.
filler for your penis. So if you're small, go to Dr. D. He's in Santa Monica.
Oh, literally Dr. D. And I don't like But this guy's was so small, there was no coming back from it. Like, the poor
Literally,
guy, yeah,
no
the
coming back.
no coming and anywhere. And I was like, at least he gave head and he was pretty good at that. Like, if you gotta know your
He's like a
limitations as a
bomb
guy.
at it.
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good.
I'm newly single, like, freshly single, and this sounds bad, but I'm excited to have new sex.
I hate it. So I'm newly single, but it's been 6 months, so I've just been getting back out there and dating again, and I hate it.
Really?
I wanna be in a relationship, but it was so toxic, I had to finally leave,
That's
and
pretty much what happened, yeah.
I love young boys, so that's all I'm attracted to is really young boys that are too young for me, and it's always complications and problems, and I'm playing mommy, but I don't turn my head for men my age, so it's just
Wait, it's so funny because that's just what I went through.
no. So what's your type or, like, what do you date?
I like Latin guys.
Okay.
So but I think I'm done. I think this cured me of the younger guy thing that I had going on because I ultimately, like, I'm ready to settle down. And,
Yeah.
sometimes you can meet a nice guy and he's young, but he doesn't even really know how to be in a relationship. And so
Yes.
then you find teaching them how to communicate, how to problem solve, how to escalate, like, heated conversations. You're like, "I'm teaching that I'm mothering this guy."
Yeah.
It's super exhausting. So I think I'm looking for somebody a little closer to my age who's got, like, a house and, like, wants kids and, like, stuff like that. So
I vibe. I mean, so I have the house, I have the kids. I had the whole like dream. I had 2 dream weddings. I'm kinda over that now, but I want a relationship. I love monogamy still, but I love them young. I love them really young. I need them move-in ready. I notice if you're my age and you have a house, it's like, who's gonna sell their house? What are we gonna do? Like, I
yeah.
like them no kids, no pets, really young so I can like move them in. But
Yeah.
they're in their trouble and they kinda sneaky and I don't do guys on Snapchat, that's something I learned too. That's just, like, automatic cheaters,
No.
red
No.
flag.
Yeah, luckily this guy wasn't sneaky. I'm good at vetting them. He wasn't sneaky. He's just retarded. Am I allowed to say that word?
Yeah, yeah. No, but I like retarded guys, like, mildly
Not
retarded
me.
or mildly autistic.
No, it's just not me.
No?
No,
So
we're
you're
not.
back dating. How are you dating? What's your approach to meet men or yeah, how do you find them?
This will sound super weird, but I feel like I manifested this last guy and I want to manifest somebody better. So like I write out the list and then I'm really big into manifesting. You have to be in the right headspace and the right energy space, but if you just kind of call it in, I'm believing that it'll just walk into my life in somewhat and then, you still have to go out and um really, I'm just gonna try to focus on, like, my career and maybe some extracurricular activities, stuff like that.
No, I feel that. How do you feel? Because I've definitely been guilty of this, dating someone that met you through work, like through your podcast. Have you done it? Are you open to it?
Not really. There's a lot of comedians that try. There's a comedian that I actually, not that I haven't done it before with comedians, it's just I learned my lesson. But for me, my career is something that really makes me happy. I'm also in a really good place, I think. Um, and so I just don't wanna do anything to mess that up.
I feel you. Yeah, my type is rock stars, and so when I've interviewed rock stars for 20 years, it just happens. I'm like, I date
Yeah,
them, and then I know I can't handle someone on tour, and now I can't pick up and leave my house and go on tour, so I
yeah.
gotta like back away from my type, but that is my type. I don't know.
I think also I'm at this stage, like this last guy that I dated, he was like a super homebody. He was great in a lot of ways. I hope I find somebody like him, but um, I want somebody who just like wants to be a dad and wants to be married and wants to be at home and wants a quiet life. And so comedian really isn't attractive to me because I'm already
Yeah.
so yeah, I want somebody boring.
I feel you. You know what I wanna go after video game guys. Like, I feel like in general, the video game guys that sit at home and game are less likely to be players or wanna leave. I want them to stay
Yeah.
home and wanna cook and clean and cuddle and watch scary movies.
Yeah.
But I also think that I don't know, I need a little bit of excitement in my life too. I can't just have a complete dull but I saw a reel, that's what I was gonna think of, that said, "We need to go after the guy that's more into us." And I
Yeah.
do think that's correct, like, the guy should be a little bit more crazier about the
Mhm.
girl, and I'm
Mhm.
having a hard time accepting that. Sometimes I wanna be alpha and in charge and the
Mhm.
chaser, which is not the
Mhm.
correct way. that it's
Yeah.
supposed to be.
Yeah, this last relationship I was in, I was very receiving. I was very and it was honestly, it was good. She's just young. He's just got to get his life together. But I also think too, as women, sometimes it's like we have to, a man is only going to treat you as much as you think that you're worth. So if you
Yeah.
think that you're worth a cheater, that's the type of guys that are going to keep coming around, you know? So for me, there's a bunch of guys that are like interested in me, but I just look at them. I'm like, nah, you're not gonna treat our daughters good. Get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think as we age, we know ourselves better, we become more confident. I'm okay with being alone. I'm not worried about it. Do I want a relationship? Yes, but I'm not. I have people in the DMs that I'm like, same thing. I go, this is trouble. This is not gonna work out. Or, maybe I'm being too picky.
No, cause no, you're not. Cause it's like, what are you gonna add to my life? Like this last guy set the bar so high. Like I will wake up in the morning, he'd be cleaning up my dog shit for
Oh,
me.
I love it.
So
Wow.
he set the bar high. He knows it. Freaking asshole. But um, I'll find somebody else like that. I'm not that worried about it. But yeah,
You will, you will.
yeah,
Okay, speaking of which, can I do fun questions?
sure.
Okay. Do you like to be dressed up or dressed down?
Both. I like to dress up in a comfy way, like a lesbian.
Yeah, I know. I give off lesbian vibes even though I'm crazy about men nowadays, like, I just want men, but I feel like I give off dude vibes and I like sweatpants all the time.
I like baggy jeans, baggy shirts. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, 90s kind of vibe
Yeah,
again. I dig
yeah,
that.
strange. Mhm.
Text or call?
Call.
Wow. I don't usually get that. Usually it's text. Okay, that's personal.
I like human connection.
Yeah,
Sure.
I
Yeah,
vibe. Music or podcasts?
music
Yeah.
for sure.
Tacos or sushi?
Uh, either one. After sex.
As long as sex comes, then the
Yeah,
taco or the sushi.
either one, yeah.
Yeah, me too. I would like tacos or sex, then tacos, then sex again, then take me out for sushi, then sex again. That would be
Yeah,
like
just
my
include sex in it and
a
I'll eat.
lot. Yeah, I have a problem. Um, Mountains or ocean?
Um, I would say because I live on the ocean, mountains, but I literally look at the ocean every day, so that's probably why.
So you're spoiled with the ocean, so need some more nature mountain time to
Yeah,
recharge.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, and then young hot fuckboy or old rich man that's kind of boring?
Old rich man that's boring.
That's where we're at now. I think I need to go for that and stop dating young broke boys. I don't know. That's my
They're
jam.
dumb when they're young. It's like you can't get what you want. That's what I just learned. It's like no matter how much they like you, they're just dumb. They don't know how to give you what you need.
That's true. That's true that. Well, Big Mac, tell me what's coming up for 2025 and how we can find you and all the cool stuff about you.
Yeah, so 2025, I'm definitely gonna be doing a lot more stand-up. I don't know, I don't have like a tour or anything in mind, but branching out to try to start touring and stuff like that. My podcast, I have a new show coming out. It's gonna be originally on OnlyFans TV. Hopefully, we'll also pitch it to some
Sweet.
networks. But it's called Love to Hate. So that'll be, I think we'll probably be releasing the first episode in December. Um, and yeah, just a lot more stand up and just trying to really get my name out there. I think it's a really good time for my comedy, my style of comedy. And you can find me on everywhere at Big Mac Lawson.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for stopping by Steph's Rock Show. And we look forward to following you. And if you come to Sacramento, let me know because I want to see you live for sure.
Okay, sounds good. So nice to meet you guys, or so nice to meet you.
I know. Nice to meet you too.